Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning into the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? This is a very special episode. When this episode airs, it's special because it's my birthday. So I designed this podcast to be evergreen, meaning that no matter when you listen to it, you will find value in whatever the topic is. So I never talk about what's actually going on as far as like seasons or what's going on in the world or time of year or holidays, because I want this to be evergreen. I want people to be able to listen to this episode in September or January or March, whenever it is, and find value in the episode. But this specific episode is going to be aired January 6th, 2021. And I am turning 36 years old. Oh my goodness. Where did time go? I feel like just yesterday I was turning 30. Like, oh my goodness. But what I want to do in this episode is share 36 lessons that I have learned in my 36 years. And I have lived a lot of life. So I'll tell you, I used to not like to tell my age because people always think that I'm younger than what I am. Thank you. And so a lot of people think I'm still in my 20s, my mid, sometimes even early 20s. And I used to let them assume it. But I actually am proud of my age because I've lived a lot of life in these 36 years. And I know I have a lot more life to live. But I've done so much and I'm so proud of the things that I've accomplished. So yeah, why hide it? Why hide age? Because it's a beautiful thing. I think with age comes a lot of wisdom, and I have so much wisdom to share. I mean, I've done so much in my life already, and I know I'm just getting started. But if we just go down a timeline, I started my first business at 19. I started my second brick and mortar business at 25. I sold that business. I had a music career. I had a song on the radio for a little while and had multiple music videos. I've traveled the world. I've been to Paris and Italy and Tahiti and Jamaica and Costa Rica and like all these amazing places. And yes, I'm gonna toot my horn for a little bit because it's my birthday. I can do that. But I've lived such an amazing, fulfilling, adventurous life so far. And like I said, I'm only getting started. So there is no reason for me to hide or deny my age. So I am turning 36 years old and I am proud of it. And I want to share with you some of the lessons that I have gained along the way. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I believe we have to update our belief system, which is actually one of the lessons. But we have programming, our parents believe a certain thing, society leads you to believe a certain thing, and throughout the years, I've had to update my belief system. And so what I want to do is share with you 36 lessons that I have learned in my 36 years. They're not numbered in any kind of way. So some of these I've learned years ago, maybe a decade or two ago. Some of these I may have just learned recently. So yeah, I would love to hear from you. So if you resonate with one of them, if you haven't heard it and you want me to elaborate, definitely screenshot wherever you're tuning in from and tag me on Instagram. I'm the most active on Instagram, so that will guarantee you a response if you send me a message or screenshot it and share it on your stories so I can share it as well and spread the love. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you and what you thought of some of these lessons. So I'm going to try to keep it really quick. I'm giving myself under 60 seconds for each lesson. So max 60 seconds so this podcast episode is not too long. So let's dive in. Lesson number 1 is time is everything. So when I grew up, I was born in New York, and New Yorkers are hustlers. They're like, time is money. I used to say this all the time. Time is money, time is money, time is money. And I heard from Robert Kiyosaki, time is not money. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So time is everything. Woo! Mic drop already. You know this is gonna be good. That was lesson number 1 and already dropped a bomb on you. So if you need to go back and listen to these lessons, do so, because these are going to be 36 powerful lessons. Number 2 is resentment is toxic. So this is something that I am working on right now. Is we have thought patterns and we have actions that lead to resentment, and resentment is toxic. So if you are someone, let's just take relationships for example, your partner does something that rubs you the wrong way, but you choose not to say anything and you stew over it for a period of time, and then they do something else and then you're mad again, but you didn't communicate with them what they did the first time. So we have these different toxic patterns that we have to address. We have to communicate with the people in our lives, whether it is a partner, whether it's your family, whether it's a friend, whether it's a business relationship. We have to communicate our needs and desires and not do things that lead to resentment, because resentment is toxic and we don't need that, right? You can't live an abundant life having toxic patterns. Well, we all have toxic patterns, but the objective is to release and overcome some of those toxic patterns. So releasing the resentment. Lesson number 3 is we are powerful beyond belief. I research, the human brain and our thought process and how we heal and all of these things. And the more that I learn, the more I am blown away at how powerful we are, how powerful each and every one of us are. And no matter how much I research it, I know that I can't even scratch the surface of how powerful the human body is. And then when you get past the body, just our energy and our minds and just the different realms, like we are powerful beyond belief. You are powerful beyond belief. All right. Lesson number 4 is healing is not linear. Healing is not linear, and there is no final destination. So many people are like, I have healed, and like they think that that's it. No, healing is continuous throughout our lives in this lifetime and even the next lifetimes, but it's not linear. It's not a straight line. It's not going to be like, okay, here's the trauma or pain, whether it's trauma with a big T or trauma with a little t, and then here's the solution, and then poof, it's gone. No, it doesn't work that way. We're constantly peeling back layers. There's layers upon layers upon layers of things that we have to heal, and different things in life trigger us. So healing is not linear. And I want to add to this lesson, we can't judge another person's journey. And so often we do. I know this is something I've worked on, is not judging other people's journey or speed of healing, especially as a coach. I can't judge people's speed of healing, and reminding myself healing is not linear and everyone's going to have their different process and journey and speed. So yeah, powerful lesson. Okay, lesson number 5 is our bodies are designed to heal themselves. So this goes back to us being powerful beyond belief. We are designed to heal ourselves. And I know that, there's a lot of like medicine and this and that and all these different things, but there are healing modalities to heal, to bring us to a place of balance so our bodies can heal themselves. So a lot of times people say, oh, I'm a healer. What I believe is that healers are actually providing tools to balance the body so the body can heal itself. Eating healthy is balancing your body. Having a balanced, a balanced diet is providing the nutrients so your body can heal itself. Hydrating and sleep, these are things that contribute to your body healing itself, because we take on so much. We have so much EMF and like all of the radiation from all of our electronic devices, all of the chemicals in our foods. Like it's really important that we bring ourselves back to a place of balance, because our bodies are designed to heal themselves. Really powerful. Okay, number 6 is gratitude is the key. Gratitude literally is the key to everything. And the times where you feel you don't have as much to be grateful for is the time where you really need to dive deeper into gratitude. So when you're struggling with something, that's when you tap into gratitude. It's easy to be grateful when things are great, but the challenge and the key is to be grateful even when they're not great, because the more grateful you are for this segment, the better the next segment is going to be. So life could be kicking your ass. In that storm, finding something to be grateful for will make sure that that next segment, when the storm is over and the dust has settled, is amazing. So gratitude literally is the key to everything, is the key to abundance, is the key to joy, is the key to living a happy, fulfilling life. All right, the next one. Number 7 is inner child work works wonders. Let me just tell you, and it's one of those things where healing is not linear, and it's not like you do inner child work and poof, you're healed, you have arrived. It's not that. It's a continuous thing, and life will continue to challenge you. So having that practice where you know you can go and nurture and soothe your inner child. So I've realized some of the places where I have a trauma response, and I've just started speaking to my inner child. When my inner child wants to throw a temper tantrum and I'm mad at something, I'm just like, you're okay, you're amazing, you got this. Because we have to do that when our ego flares up, when we're feeling triggered, when we're feeling defensive. That is your inner child being triggered for whatever reason. So having a practice, a continuous practice on how to soothe and nurture your inner child is a game changer. It's a game changer. All right. Number 8 is, this is a quote from Robert Kiyosaki, who I love. Robert Kiyosaki literally has changed my life. So Robert Kiyosaki says 9 in 10 businesses fail, so you just have to start 10 businesses. This is something I learned, or I read of his years ago, but it literally changed my life. 9 in 10 businesses fail, so you just have to start 10 businesses. So this is saying like, okay, your first business may fail. Your second business may fail, but I personally do not believe in failure. I believe that every single business that quote unquote is a failure, it's a lesson. It's a lesson that you have to learn to build a better business the next time around. So I always tell this story, and I'll try to do it under 60 seconds. So Michael Jordan did not get accepted for his first basketball team. And if he quit and just said, I'm not good at basketball, I didn't get accepted, I failed this first audition or tryout, whatever you call it, he would not be the greatest basketball player of all times. He kept practicing and he kept trying and he went for it again. So you have to keep going, and every single time that you do it, you're going to get better, wiser, smarter, more resilient, and know, okay, look at what went wrong. What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What can I do better next time, and try again? So there's a lot of people that I know that started a business, it didn't work out the way they wanted, and they quit. And they're just like, I'll never start another business again. My first business, I don't believe in failure, so I won't say my first business failed, but it wasn't successful the way I wanted it to be. But I learned from my mistakes, and I built another business. I opened a dance studio at 19, and I closed it in probably 6 months. But then I opened another one at 25, and I was at capacity in 3 years, and in 5 years I sold it. So if I would have said, business is hard, I can't do this, and just quit, I would have never had that next successful business. So you have to keep trying. All right. Number 9 is there is a difference between infatuation, lust, and love, and then taking it a step further and getting into unconditional love. A lot of people don't know what unconditional love is, and not just unconditional love for others, but also unconditional love for yourself. So really understanding that there's a difference. So one of the first things that helped me understand this is the 5 love languages. So powerful, powerful lessons, and learning to speak your partner's love language, learning to speak the love language of your family and friends as well. So really understanding, being infatuated with someone. And when I say infatuation, this could be for friends too. Like you think that this person is super cool and you want to hang out with them, but really getting to know them beyond just the facade and loving the person that they are in, like, even with all of their flaws. So really knowing a person, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still saying I love you, and still caring about them and loving them, and then loving them unconditionally. So finding out a person's like deepest, darkest secrets and still being able to look at them and find them beautiful, amazing, and love them. And same thing for yourself, is being able to love yourself unconditionally. Like, you know, a lot of people are like, I love myself, but do you love yourself unconditionally? Like, have you really looked at your shadows and still been able to say, I'm amazing? It's a whole nother level. So really just understanding the different levels of love. All right, number 10 is communication is the foundation. Communication is the foundation of every single relationship. That's romantic. That's especially business. Well, especially romantic. Literally every single relationship, communication is the foundation. And so I have become obsessed with emotional intelligence. Just being able to communicate from a place of emotional intelligence is a game changer. So not pointing fingers, not attacking, really being able to hold space, practicing active listening, being self-aware, being aware of others, being able to pick up on nonverbal cues. Like, communication is the foundation. And I honestly believe that being a good communicator is going to help you in life in all areas, your relationships, business, just literally everything. So communication is the foundation of every relationship. All right. Number 11 is trust in divine timing and divine guidance. So life is a little crazy sometimes. We think we're going to have the best year of our lives, and then we have a pandemic. We're going to have the best year of our lives, and then we find out, I had a friend that just went through chemotherapy for breast cancer. So I think that trusting in divine timing and divine guidance is so incredibly powerful. We can plan for our lives, and I think we should plan. Like, I'm someone, I have to have a plan. I have to have a plan. I have to. But even with our plan, life happens, and there is a plan that is greater than us. There is a plan that's bigger than our plan, and we have to trust that. And sometimes in the thick of it, when you're in an arena getting your ass kicked, you cannot understand. It's like, why now? Why me? Why this? But there is a reason for everything. So truly trusting divine guidance and timing. Okay, so number 12 is we have 8 clear abilities. Now, this was really fun for me to understand just our different gifts. I believe that we all have gifts, and we all can activate all 8 of our gifts. So I did an episode on the 8 clear abilities. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out, because it's really useful in understanding how your intuition communicates with you. So do you hear your intuition? Do you see your intuition? Do you feel your intuition? And what is the combination of all of them? So I do believe we have access to all 8, but we have to connect more with ourselves to really activate them and welcome them in. A lot of people are fearful. They don't want to see things because they're afraid they're going to think that they're crazy, So we resist some of our gifts and some of our abilities, and we close off our intuition from communicating with us in those specific ways. So really tapping into your intuition and connecting with your inner voice more, and opening yourself up for your intuition to communicate with you in different ways. Really, really powerful. Okay, so number 13 is we store trapped emotions. So this is definitely something I've known for a long time, and the more that I dive deeper into sound therapy and healing, the more that I realize we store a lot of shit in our bodies. We store so much in our bodies. And doing this work that I'm doing now, the therapeutic sound therapy sessions where the bowls are on the body, I'm realizing where people are storing their trapped emotions. Like, I learned that we tend to store grief in our knees. So if you're someone who has bad knees, have you not dealt with some type of grief? And, like, also correlating the chakras. So if you're experiencing, let's just say, financial problems, that's in the root chakra. So if you have lower back pain, you're storing your financial stress in your back. When I tell you, again, we are powerful beyond belief and our bodies are constantly communicating with us, which is one of the lessons. But so, not to get ahead of myself, but we are such amazing dynamic beings. And when you really connect to yourself and your body, you can release these trapped emotions so you feel lighter, so you vibrate higher. When you vibrate higher, you attract better things to you. Okay, because I get worked up and I'll keep going, but I'm trying to keep this under 60 seconds per lesson. Okay, so number 14 is vibration plus intention equals healing. So this is a quote that one of the pioneers of sound therapy, maybe not the pioneers, but he wrote a few books on sound therapy. Vibration plus intention equals healing. So the sound bowls produces a vibration, and the vibration just for the sound can activate our brain waves. When we activate our brain waves, we enhance cognitive functions and raise our level of consciousness. And then also the therapeutic sessions where the bowls are on the body, that actually activates our cells. It activates our lymphatic system. So it's helping our cells rejuvenate themselves and get the oxygen and whatever it needs so we can heal ourselves. Because like I said earlier, our bodies are designed to heal ourselves. So that vibration is really good for us because it's putting your body back into its baseline resonance so it can heal itself. So vibration plus intention. So the intention is releasing trapped emotions. The intention could be love. The intention could be well-being. The intention could be balance. It could be abundance. So really setting your intention when you go into any type of healing session is going to be powerful because our minds control everything. So if you go into a session and you're saying, oh, this is not going to work, your body is reacting to that. If you say this session is going to heal me or release this trapped emotion or release this pain, your body will react to that and it's only going to make the healing that more powerful. Okay, number 15 is peace comes from within. So this is something where I used to think I had to create a peaceful environment. Like, I can't talk to this person. I can't go here. I can't do this because it's going to disturb my peace. It's going to disturb my peace. I used to say that. I used to actually say that to people, like, you're disturbing my peace. No one can disturb your peace unless you allow them to. No one or no thing can disturb your peace unless you allow them to. So finding peace within, no matter what is going on around you. It's so funny because I do meditations and sound baths and there's distractions, someone coughs, someone gets up to go to the bathroom or, whatever. I live in the city, so sometimes there's cars going by or ambulance going by. And people are like, oh man, it took me out of my meditation. The key is to not allow it to take you out of your meditation, not allow it to take you out of your place of peace or alignment. And this is a never-ending process where you try to maintain your peace and alignment because life happens and things are going to take you out, but then you learn from it. How could I have stayed in a place of peace? Because peace comes from within. So how could I not have allowed this to disturb me? Or what did this disturbance teach me? But the peace is within. So no matter what's going on outside or around you, being able to maintain that peace. And again, that is a never-ending choice to maintain peace. So people that go out into road rage, like, you choose to allow the traffic to bother you. You don't have to allow it to. So once you tackle road rage, then something happens in the world, something that really frustrates you, but then you can tackle that. Why does this frustrate me? Why is this pulling me out of my peace? What do I need to heal from it? And when you peel that layer back, then you find another layer. It literally is a never-ending blooming onion, but we're always growing. That is the purpose of life, is to continue to grow and evolve. So finding your peace within and trying your best, committing every day to maintaining it. But being gentle with yourself if you don't, because again, things pull us out of our alignment or our sense of peace, our place of peace, and then it's up to us to get back to that place of peace and alignment. Number 16, when we share our voice, it gives others the courage to share their voice as well. This is so powerful for me because I used to not want to talk about anything controversial. I used to not want to ruffle any feathers, but I realized that if I'm going to talk about the stuff that I really feel passionate about, it's going to ruffle some feathers, and it's going to disrupt some people and disrupt some ways of thinking, but we have to, because if we want to make change, if we want to be trailblazers, if we want to be thought leaders, if we want to make an impact in a world and leave a legacy and build an empire, we have to share our voice. And there's so much power in our voice. So you sharing your voice is giving other people courage to share their voice as well. And that is one of the things that I love about this podcast, is giving people an opportunity to share their voice, to inspire others to share their voice. And that is how we're going to grow as a collective. That is how we're going to heal as a collective. If we stand up and share our voice, there is power in your voice. Okay. Number 17 is hedonic and eudaimonic. Okay, so this is something really, really powerful that I learned. There's two different types of happiness. We have hedonic and eudaimonic. So hedonic stems from the word hedonism, which is all about self-pleasure. So, like in Jamaica, hedonism. Anyways, then we have eudaimonic, which is all about serving and making an impact and changing the world. So what I learned is that if you're too far on either end of the spectrum, so you have the person that's all about self-pleasure. You want to start a business because you want to make money and have a fancy house and go on exotic vacations and, drive a fancy car, etc., etc. If you are too far on that end of the spectrum, eventually it's going to become shallow and superficial, and you'll have a void and you're not going to be fulfilled. A lot of people get to that and they're like, okay, well, I have the house and I have the car and I can buy whatever I want. I can travel wherever I want, but I'm not happy. Why? And so then you have eudaimonic, where this person is all about serving. A lot of times these are healers and doctors and teachers and sometimes coaches. So they're all about serving. They're all about making a difference and making an impact in the world. But what happens is they forget about or dismiss or suppress their own desires because they're just focused on serving. So these are your minimalists that are like, I don't need a lot. I don't need to charge much for my services. I just want to give back. Here's the thing. Here's one of my favorite quotes. You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of you first. So what I learned is that you have to find the balance between the two. So serving, because we are here to serve. We are vessels, and this was a hard lesson for me to learn, but we are vessels that are sent here with a purpose that we have to fulfill. So serving, but serving from your overflow, making sure that your cup is full. So what is it going to take for your cup to be full? What are your basic needs? And then what are your wants? And when you have that, being able to serve more, when your cup is full, you have more to give. So making sure you're focusing and prioritizing self-care. You have to prioritize self-care. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You have to focus on self-care. So making sure that your cup is full, so full that it's overflowing, so you're serving from your overflow. So really trying to find that balance between eudaimonic and hedonic. The balance between the two, to me, is where you live a happy and fulfilling life. So you are life is meant to be abundant, which is one of them, and I'm jumping ahead, but making sure that you're taking care of your own needs and desires, because we should focus on our desires. Life wants to give you everything that you desire. We cap our own happiness. So making sure that you're focusing on yourself, your basic needs, your self-care, and your desires, and serving and living your purpose. So if you can maintain those two, and sometimes it'll be a juggling act, because sometimes, life gets busy and you're starting a new project. So it's going to be a continuous juggling act, but the goal of life is to try to find that balance between the two, and it's a continuous effort. So yeah, that was a really powerful lesson, hedonic and eudaimonic happiness. Okay, number 18 is do what makes you happy. It will raise your vibration. And like I said earlier, the higher you vibrate, the more you're going to attract to you the things that you want and desire. So gravitating towards what makes you happy. This lesson comes to me so many times in life, but I'll tell you one really quick story. Is this glitter wall, for example. I'm like, what? Like, some people may think it's extra, over the top, whatever, but it makes me happy and it raises my vibration. Every time I walk into my room, I feel good when I see this glitter. So why not? We tend to not do what makes us happy because we are afraid that people will judge us. When in reality, it's us judging ourselves because of some type of childhood belief. So when I was younger, I was over the top, and I remember this, I literally remember this like moment because it's like etched. We store trapped emotions. So I walk out of the room and I spent all this time on my hair, my outfit, and all this kind of stuff. And I asked my mom, it's like my first day of school, I asked my mom, how do I look? And I'm excited because I feel like I look fabulous. And I mean, my fabulous could be like glitter head to toe, like who knows what it was. But I'm sure it was like bright and colorful and just over the top, which is my personality. But my mom said, I wouldn't wear it. And I could laugh about it now, but in that moment, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. So what that taught me is that I'm too much, and if I tone myself down, I'll be accepted more. I'll be liked more. I'll be loved more. And I spent years of my adult life undoing that belief. So when I say gravitate towards what makes you happy, I don't care if it's over the top. I don't care if it's extra. I don't care if it's gaudy. I don't care, like, if it's simple. Maybe you like simple things, like whatever makes you happy, do that. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel light? Gravitate towards that, because it is going to raise your vibration, and the higher you vibrate, the better you're going to attract the things that you want into your life. Okay. The next one is number 19. We numb our pain and voids, and this causes us to have toxic patterns and keep us in a trauma loop. So there are so many ways right now people are numbing their pain, and I don't blame them, because society leads you to believe that emotions are bad and feelings are bad, and the people who feel too much are empaths, and if you have too strong of feelings, like you're dramatic. Like, society literally teaches us to suppress our feelings, and feelings are meant to be felt, so we can't just easily suppress them. So we numb them. We numb them with drugs. We numb them with alcohol. We numb them with gambling and sex and video games and all different types of things, to avoid feeling what we're meant to feel in order to heal. So that little voice inside is going to get louder and louder and louder until you listen to it. And if you don't listen to it, then you have to find more and more ways to numb the voice. And that will keep you in a trauma loop. So as much as we don't want to feel the strong, intense, or heavy feelings, They're there for a purpose, to teach us something so we can heal and grow and expand and transcend and allow more abundance in. So feel your feelings and know that it's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to feel the things that come up, and we do have the option to release them if they're not serving us. So if it comes up, what is this I'm feeling? What am I feeling? How often do you ask, what am I feeling? And honoring whatever comes up. Why am I feeling this way? Is there something for me to learn? Can I heal from something? Is this an opportunity for growth? It's always an opportunity for growth. So allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling.
If you were looking for a sign, here it is. This is your reminder to not settle, to know your worth, and to follow your bliss. This is a reminder to maintain alignment and show up in your fullest expression. Abundant and Aligned Society is an accountability program to remind you that you are a powerful being and you deserve to live the life you truly desire. Go to niajae.com/society to join in on the magic, because life is meant to be abundant.
Number 20 is over-explaining is a trauma response. So this is something that I learned recently. I am an over-explainer, and this stems from me never feeling like I am understood. Like if I don't feel like someone gets me, I feel like, okay, if I just explain it a different way, or if I just explain it in more detail. And so then I tend to over-explain because I want to be understood, and it comes from, a place of feeling accepted as a child. So over-explaining is a trauma response, and people are not going to get you. That's the reality of life. Some people are not going to get you. Some people don't want to get you. Some people are just on a different wavelength and they won't get you. And that's okay. So really healing that place inside that feels like they have to be understood. I have to be understood because I have to be accepted, because that is going to soothe my inner child. But if we go back to the inner child works wonders, if you can soothe your inner child, then you need less validation, which is another lesson, but you don't need as much validation from the external world because you accept yourself, self-acceptance, and you share your voice. Who is meant to land well with, it will. And that's it. The next one is number 21 is people pleasing is a trauma response. So I'm definitely not a people pleaser, but I encounter a lot of, it's not an issue that I have ever suffered from, but I know that it's common, again, in the eudaimonic happiness type people, the people that want to serve, the people that want to make an impact. A lot of times, if you have like a mom that's an entrepreneur and she feels like she has to do for everyone else and she puts herself last, that is a trauma response. And when I say trauma, again, there's trauma with a big T and trauma with a little t. So it could be trauma with a little t. Like if you were raised to believe that like women are supposed to cook and clean and that's it. So like you have this idea that like this is what you're supposed to do and your needs are put last. So like really asking yourself, is this perspective serving me? Do I need to update this belief system? And just kind of peeling the layers back on that. So people pleasing a lot of times, again, is needing validation. If I do this for this person, they'll like me, and I want to be liked because, as a child, if you weren't liked or you weren't accepted or you didn't have a big circle of friends, that creates minor trauma that is stored in our bodies, and it creates our patterns as adults. So really asking yourself, are you more of a people pleaser, or are you someone who sets healthy boundaries? And setting healthy boundaries is extremely important. And people should respect that. People that love and care about you will respect your healthy boundaries. We only have but so much bandwidth. So if you're not able to fully commit and do something at 100%, then say no, for example. And if the person doesn't accept that, do they really value and honor you? Like, healthy boundaries is important in every relationship, whether it's romantic, friends, family, business, whatever. So really peeling the layers back on that. Number 22 is it can be effortless when we release the resistance. Let me tell you guys, I had so much resistance. So much resistance. And what's really funny is like the more that I activate my gifts, I can not see with a physical eye, but I can feel people's resistance, or I can see it like energetically. I can see people's resistance. And the reason why is because I resisted literally everything. Like, I'm super stubborn. And you guys know, like, if you listen to my episode, Confessions of a Stubborn Vessel, like, I resisted so much. But when you release the resistance and you follow that divine guidance, it is so much easier. It is so much easier. The stuff that literally falls in my lap, and when I say falls in my lap, like, things just happen, like opportunities just come to me, but it's because I plant seeds. I'm very intentional every single day of my life of like what I'm creating. So the more grateful we are in this segment, the better the next segment is going to be. So focusing on my intention and focusing on my gratitude and my energy and how I'm living my life, the seeds that I'm planting today. So then the next segment, things are just falling into place. And you know what? I shouldn't say falling into place. I should say rising into place. I like that. I like that. Rising into place. So yeah, when you release resistance and you just allow the universe to do its thing, because we get so attached on like how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, that we create resistance. And then we're sitting there like, well, why isn't this manifesting? And a lot of times it's holding on to old patterns, holding on to our old life, holding on to the old version of ourselves. So really releasing the resistance, things will happen effortlessly. Now, it's work, so I'm not saying like it's going to be easy. Like, it's going to take some action. It's going to take, some healing, some redoing thought patterns. But when you do, whew, I'm telling you, the magic happens. Okay. Number 23 is we have to update our belief system. So I definitely touched on this a little bit. We establish our belief system at around age like 7 or 8. And those experiences leave an imprint on us. And that imprint creates how we show up in the world, how we process information, how we are in relationships. So if we had absent or distant parents, that shows up in our relationships, in our adult lives. It shows up in our businesses. It shows up in how we carry ourselves and show up in the world. So if it's a situation in your life that you're not happy with, ask yourself, where can I update my belief system? What core belief do I have that is shaping my reality? And how can I reprogram it to something that is serving me? So powerful. Okay. Number 24 is choose courage over comfort. So this is Brene Brown again. Choose courage over comfort. Sometimes you're going to be in the arena getting your ass kicked, and that's just the reality of it, unfortunately. Like, I wish there was a way to avoid it, but if you're really doing the inner work, you're really facing the shadows and the outdated belief systems and the programming and like the flaws. Like, we're all going to have flaws. Again, it's a never-ending blooming onion. But if you're in the arena doing the work, it's going to get ugly at times. And you have to face it. You have to choose courage over comfort. And there's times where I'm just like, it would just be easier to not be such a good person. Like, sometimes I feel like being a good person is like hard work. I mean, sometimes I do, because I'm like, this is the right thing. This is integrity. And there's so many opportunities we have to cut corners, but it always catches up with you in the end. So just choosing to be a good person, choosing to do the right thing, choosing to lead with integrity It's so important. So to me, that's choosing courage over comfort, having those uncomfortable conversations in your relationship so you're not avoiding and masking things and sweeping them under the rug. Like, it's important. Choose courage over comfort. Number 25 is there is power in vulnerability. So again, Brene Brown, there's so much power in vulnerability. She has a whole TED Talk and several books about vulnerability, but really feeling safe. To me, this is the key to vulnerability. Really having inner trust and safety within, that no matter what happens, if you put yourself out there, you will be okay. And that is hard for some people because a lot of people don't trust themselves. Like, we're taught to not trust ourselves. We come into this world feeling like, you know, I want to do this, I want to touch this, I want to do this, I want to play here, I want to do this way. And then the world tells us, no, that's not how you do it. You do it this way. You think this way, you act this way, you dress this way. And so we don't trust ourselves anymore. And then we spend our adult years undoing all of that programming. it's a vicious cycle. So anyway, really connecting back to your intuition, trusting yourself, knowing that at your core, you know what's best for you. And this is when you peel the layers back of fear, self-doubt, programming, limiting beliefs. When you peel those layers back and really get to who you are and your inner voice, in your core, you know what's best for you. So learning to trust yourself, and when you can trust yourself, then you know that there's so much power in vulnerability. Okay, number 26 is intimacy leads to deep connection. So I had an intimacy coach for some time, and when I say intimacy, obviously I'm not just talking about sex. Like, we have intimate relationships with friends and family and business partners, etc., etc. So intimacy is just connection. So I just want to clarify, not talking about sex. I mean, nothing wrong with talking about sex, but in this case, not talking about sex. So allowing that intimacy, and a lot of people shut out intimacy. I probably shut out intimacy for years because I wasn't really taught how to be intimate. I wasn't taught how to communicate from a place of emotional intelligence. I wasn't taught how to be vulnerable. I was born in New York, survival of the fittest. Like, you know, you weren't vulnerable. You didn't get too intimate. You kept people at a bay. And then I got to a point in my life where I'm like, well, why don't I have deep connections in my life? I wasn't letting people in. And I had no idea because of my programming. So it all literally, like, it's like this never-ending school, just lessons upon lessons upon lessons. And that's the work. And then, you know, you pass these lessons on to your children and your grandchildren, or write a book or create some type of content, like evergreen content like this podcast, where people years and decades from now can learn these lessons. And a lot of times that's why we're here. That's our purpose, to learn what we're meant to learn in this lifetime and to pass it on. Okay. Number 27 is self-awareness is crucial. So I mentioned self-awareness with the emotional intelligence. Like, that's the first key, being aware of yourself, really getting to know yourself, knowing what your traumas are, knowing what your triggers are. And there are people that go through this lifetime completely oblivious and naive to what's actually going on energetically, internally, etc., etc. But I think that we're going through a collective healing, and we're waking up. We're realizing that there is another realm, and we have access to it. We have the ability to raise our level of consciousness, to really tap into our infinite power and live the lives that we are meant to live. Okay, let me speed it up here. So number 28 is being intentional in your living. So this definitely speaks to the self-awareness as well. Every single decision that we make is shaping our future. Our thought process is shaping our future. Our feelings are shaping our future. Our limiting beliefs is limiting our future. So being intentional, choosing every single day, I'm going to be happy today. Like, happiness is a choice, you know, or I'm going to be successful. I'm going to live the best life that I can live. I'm going to be the best version of myself. And so intentional living. So a person that talks a lot about intentional living is John Maxwell. And I actually saw him speak live, and it was so powerful because he has written 88 books at the time of me seeing him speak live. It may be more by now, but 88 books, and still going. That is amazing. And the average person may not even write one book in their lifetime, and he's written 88 books. And you know what he said? He said, I have 88 books because I write every single day. I write every single day. Christmas, I write. My birthday, I write. When I'm sick, I write. That is intentional living. He knows that he wants to be an author and one of the best authors in his lifetime. So he writes every single day. So are you committing to your goals and your desires and your dreams some time every single day? Are you committing to be the best version of yourself every single day? Powerful. You have to live intentionally because what you're doing today is shaping your tomorrow. Are you planting seeds for a beautiful harvest, or is it going to be like a crappy harvest? I don't know. But everything that you do is shaping your tomorrow. So living intentionally and making sure that what you're doing is creating the situation and a life that you desire. Okay, number 29 is trust your intuition. So we talked about connecting back to yourself and learning to trust yourself and getting back to who you are at your core. So incredibly powerful. And that is a lot of the work that I do with the sound therapy, helping people peel the layers back energetically, release the trapped emotions, overcome the blocks, the energetic blocks, the mental blocks, the emotional blocks, so they can connect back to their intention. So powerful. Number 30 is don't live above your means. So I really wasn't taught budgeting, saving, and investing at a young age. So I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way and still am learning, to be honest. But it's so important to not live above your means. Like, this is something that I will be doing more episodes on, because you know the term keeping up with the Joneses. There's a lot of people that are keeping up with the Joneses, and I think that it's magnified because of social media. We have to look good for the gram. So a lot of people are living above their means, or they're living paycheck to paycheck, or client to client if you're an entrepreneur or coach, for example. And a lot of entrepreneurs and coaches feel like, because of my brand, and this includes me, definitely includes me, so I'm not exempt to this, but because I'm an entrepreneur or coach, I have to present myself in this way so people want to work with me. Like, this is what society is selling us. This is what society has shaped us to believe. So we go out and we get fancy condos and houses and cars and outfits and designer bags, or whatever the case may be, to try to present this image to support our lifestyle brand. And so many people, like I can't remember, I want to say it was like a Facebook Live about finances, and they said that most Americans don't even have $1,000 spare cash in their bank account. Like, that is insane. That is insane. And so there are people who learn budgeting, saving, investing at a young age, and they have like a modest income, but because they're smart with their money and they're living within their means, they're able to invest. They're able to, have like build a portfolio. Even knowing what a portfolio is, I wasn't taught that without me actively going to seek out the information, again, being intentional with my life and my finances. So really, really hard pill for some people to swallow. Like, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you can't afford the things that you desire, there are lessons there. It's an opportunity for growth. And this is something I definitely want to talk more about, because a lot of times we buy things and it's offering some type of external validation for us, but we're making the decision to buy some of these things to mask some of our wounds. Like, I love Christian Louboutin shoes, and it's because when I was younger and I wanted a pair of like new sneakers before they came out, my mom couldn't afford to buy them for me. And she would always buy them for me, but it'd be, 2 weeks till the next paycheck, or, a month until the next paycheck, because the next paycheck she has bills. So the following paycheck I'll get them, but then a month later they're not new anymore. So the inner child in me would feel like it's not fair that I can't have these new sneakers. And so as an adult, it offered me a sense of validation to be able to buy really expensive stilettos. Really expensive stilettos, but I thought that it was healing my inner child to have these, and it offered me this like external validation. But it's like, no, it really doesn't. Like the bigger lesson in that is budget and finance, so you can pay cash for what you want and not have to wait till your next paycheck. But again, layers upon layers upon layers of healing and growth and lessons and opportunity to expand. So definitely a powerful lesson for me lately, and I will be talking more about that. So again, if you are resonating with any of these lessons, definitely tag me on Instagram so we can chat about it. The next one is number 31. True and complete self-love is facing and embracing your shadows. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, that unconditional love. And unconditional love is loving yourself, good, the bad, and the ugly. So shadow work, let me tell you, it's intense. So intense. But I think that doing some shadow work will really help you understand who you are. Understand, like, it's like it puts that mirror in front of your face, and some people don't like looking at that mirror. They don't like looking at the stuff that they swept under the rug. So doing that shadow work, I think, offers a whole other level of self-love. Like, you can love yourself, like how you look and your job, and like you're doing great, your life is great, but like if you really get to who you are at your core, your toxic patterns, and be able to face them, they no longer hold power over you, and you can have self-acceptance and self-love on a whole other level. Okay, next one is 32. We tend to connect and bond over wounds and trauma. So this is something that I learned, we bond with people more over wounds and trauma than we do over joy, creativity, and passion. So I know, like, there's been friendships that I've made with people because I'm going through a breakup and they're going through a breakup. So we get together and talk about our breakup and talk about our pain and talk about our trauma. And that will keep you in a trauma loop. So really ask yourself, like, my friends, when I bonded with them, was it over trauma and pain? Or was it over joy and passion and like shared interests and creativity? So I'm sure that like shared creativity is going to be a big thing, but where in your life can you connect with people more over joy, passion, and shared creativity? It's so much better and healthier to bond with people over positive, high vibrational things than to bond over pain and trauma, because that can cause a situation of like you enabling each other, and it keeps you in a trauma loop. All right, next one is number 33 is absent or distant parents leads to needing validation as adults. Okay, so talked about this briefly. If we didn't receive the words of affirmation, the nurturing, the care, the support that we needed as children, what happens is in our adult life, we're constantly seeking external validation. And that shows up as like you needing your ego strokes. So me having the Christian Louboutin shoes, or having that big house because you're keeping up with the Joneses, or the fancy car, or whatever the case may be. So if you do the inner work to heal that child that didn't feel loved, supported, embraced, and nurtured, then you don't need the external validation. And so now if I buy a pair of Christian Louboutins, this is because I want them and I like them and that's it. And I don't need that validation from anyone of like, look at me now, I can afford these expensive shoes. It's quite silly. It's quite silly when you like look back and like really dissect some of the motivations that causes us to do some of the things that we do. It's like that deep inner work to really understand how we operate and why we operate the way that we do, and then choosing, is this serving me? Is this who I want to be? And if it's not, we have the ability to update our belief system and choose a pattern that serves us and serves our highest good. Okay, number 34 is we're in a constant state of fight or flight and we have to get back to our baseline resonance. So this speaks to when I was saying our bodies need to be balanced to heal themselves. We are in a constant state of fight or flight. So these days we have cell phones. Our cell phones are constantly going off. Then you have notifications on your Apple Watch. So every time you get a notification, an email, a social media update, like it's sending a little jolt to your nervous system. And we're in a constant state of fight or flight. Constant like, oh, I got an email, I have to check it, I have to respond, I got a like, I got a notification, I got this. Like, we're not giving our bodies time to rest and reset. Some people don't sleep a full 8 hours, or they keep their phones on, or they get on their phone the second they wake up. Our bodies and minds are in a constant state of fight or flight, and we have to reset, just like you reset your phone, just like you reset your computer or reboot it, or like shut it down. You have to give your body time to reset and get back to your baseline resonance. So baseline resonance, a good way to think about this is grounding. When they say grounding, go out into nature, because you are observing the resonance, the energetic resonance or frequency of the earth. So if you're scattered and all over the place, it's going to ground you, calm you, and bring you back to your baseline resonance, your baseline frequency, because life happens, all of the notifications and how busy and rapid everything is these days, it's calming your nervous system, and that's so important. So making sure that you have some type of self-care regimen that's going to help you do that. Obviously, sound therapy is a great one. If you don't have access to sound therapy, meditation is great, breath work is great, like yoga is great. There's so many different things that you can do to bring yourself back to a place of alignment and balance, and that's really, really important. Okay, number 35. Oh, we're winding down, guys. Number 35 is our bodies are communicating with us. Every ache, pain, or physical ailment is your body communicating something to you. So this speaks to the trapped emotions. This speaks to our baseline resonance. So every ache you have, every pain, usually it's associated with some type of chakra, and that chakra can tell you what it's correlated to. So if you have a sore throat, like, what are you not speaking up about? If you have lower back pain, that's your root chakra. Is it a issue at home? Is it a finance issue? So root chakra deals with like safety, security, stability, like that kind of thing. So literally everything that we experience, we've attracted to us, or our bodies are communicating with us. So sometimes like people will get in some type of an accident, and like, let's just say like you tripped and like twisted your ankle. Like, okay, how is that our bodies communicating with us? It could be something in our energetic field that attracted, through the law of attraction, that trip to happen. And issues with your ankle speaks to some type of issue that like either your body or your energetic field. And when I say energetic field, it's like our internal beliefs are shaping our reality. So we literally attract everything to us. So that's like if something happens externally, but if it's internally, a stomach ache, back pain, shoulder pain, I personally wear all my stress in my shoulders. And It's so detailed if you really dive into this. And obviously with sound therapy, I am like, left side is past, so you're holding on to some past stress or some outdated belief system. And then right side is future, so you have a fear of moving forward, you're stressed about what's going to happen in the future. So literally, we are powerful beyond belief. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us. The trapped emotions, whether it's about our past, whether it's about the future, whether it's anxiety about the present, we can figure all of that out about what's going on internally or externally from what's going on in our bodies. But you have to connect to your intuition. You have to connect to yourself and really listen to your body. All right, guys, we are down to the last one. 36 lessons in 36 years. Number 36 is, of course, I had to end it with this. Life is meant to be abundant. That is the whole purpose of this podcast. I'm sharing everything I've learned with you so you can live an abundant life. And that's my intention every day, working towards living an abundant life, living a life that fulfills me and makes an impact and serves. So life is meant to be abundant, and stop capping your happiness, stop capping your joy. Like, the only thing that's standing in between us in the abundant life that we desire is ourselves. It's our limiting beliefs. It's our fear, our doubt. We cap how much abundance we allow in. So break through that glass ceiling and expand to allow more joy and passion and excitement and creativity and love and abundance and success in. We just have to expand to allow it in and not get afraid. And the thing is, fear happens. Like, there is no way to avoid fear, but acting in spite of it, and stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Life is meant to be abundant. So the only thing that stands in the way of that abundance is our own thought patterns and limiting beliefs and actions. Like, we are creating our reality. So I hope that you take these 36 lessons and create a reality that you are madly in love with. So those are my 36 lessons. Whew, I feel like that was a lot. And if I was you, M&Ms, I would go back, listen to this again, and take notes, because there was some gold. Literally every lesson, every 36 lesson that I just shared is gold. And if you can apply and integrate it into your life, it will change your life. It will change your life. I don't talk about anything on this podcast that I don't believe in. And I don't share anything that I haven't experienced or integrated into my life. And I'm here doing the work with you. We're in this together. We're healing as a collective. So I'm doing my part to provide the information and the tools. Hopefully it's resonating and someone is making a change. Even if you just get up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm going to be intentional today. I'm going to have a good day. Even if it's just that small, I feel like it's worth it. It's worth it for me to provide the tools and the knowledge and the opportunity for the self-awareness so you can live the life that you truly desire, because life is meant to be abundant. It's just up to us to peel the layers back of crap that life has piled on us. So in my 36 years, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning, because it is a never-ending bloomin' onion. Do you like blooming onions? Like, tag me on Instagram and tell me if you like blooming onions. I actually don't like eating onions, but I really like using that as an example. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope that you found value in this. Please tag me on Instagram and let me know that you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed sharing my 36 lessons with you. So until next time, be decadent.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.